mission, righteous the Almighty. Raw split in the sea, into that clear sight. Go far intuition, lifting up that soul right. High low, high low, high low, high low. Elevate my love, generate my touch. Everything I see coming to me.
I can be honest with my people. And when I'm honest with my people best know how to serve me. It's no different than being spiritual and talking to God and your spirits in prayer. When I'm real with myself and real with the spirit best knows how to aid me. You understand? And so we have to think about these things. So before we get into the juices of meeting our twin flames and all that good stuff, what is a twin flame to you?
It's your mirrored soul. It's your divine partner. It's literally you, just in another body. And when I say it's the balance of the masculine and the feminine, it can be two men together, it could be two women together. It's just who carries what more dominant energy. It's the combination or the representation of holy love. It's love with a purpose, because your twin flame is someone you are agreed to incarnate with in this dimension to perform a particular task, to raise the vibrations of earth, to
generate my touch. Everything I see coming to me, I'm knowing. Fruits that I bear from the sowing. I just put in work to the morning, to the three bird that we heard. Stepping through the light, that's a rebirth. Giving thanks to life and the ether. I can never fall when I'm free word. Free bird, free word, free bird, free word, free bird. I'm Elo, I'm Elo, I'm Elo, I'm Elo. Sun rays like a satellite. Energies bring me back to life. Catch me. Sun rays like a satellite. Energies bring me back to life. Catch me chillin' with the halo. Universal flow, I belong here. Keep that focus on that starlight. God of my universe, part of my mission, righteous the Almighty. Raw split in the sea, into that clear sight. Go far intuition, lifting up that soul right. High low, high low, high low, high low. Elevate my love, generate my touch. Everything I see coming to.
Oh, I just realized the mic was on mute. Good night, good night, good night, beautiful people. How are you? Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Let me make sure. Let me know that you could hear me fine. Let me know that you are able to see me fine. I'm also looking from my phone. So if you see me looking down, I'm looking from my phone to see how the stream is flowing, just to test it out. And today, I decided to sit outside in nature. It's been a while since I've done a live in nature, and versus sitting the other way, I turned this way because I was hoping to get a little bit of the sunset going down. However, that didn't happen. I had a little, some minor delays that really set me back. Anyhow, we pushed through. As you guys know, we always have to push through.
And it seems like when you want to talk about something or do something great, there's some form of adversity that tries to block you or stop you or throw you off kilter. However, we're here and you guys are tuning in, and I want to thank you for tuning in. I ask that you like, that you comment, that you share, that you give some feedback, that you ask some questions, that you get involved with me. Talk tonight with me. Now, unfortunately, unfortunately, I will be solo tonight. Um, Shan- Shanique is not joining us tonight because she had some delays as well with commuting. As you guys know, the weather is crazy. It's a lot going on in the world. So there's just little setbacks. However, I asked that you guys send Rain, aka Shanique, or Shanique, aka Rain, that you guys send her some positive vibes, positive energy her way, that everything, goes smoothly. But tonight, we're carrying on with the series of the triple D's, as Shanique calls it: duality, desire, and discipline, or desire, discipline, and duality. And tonight is week 2, and we're going to talk about duality and the sacred conflict. And so I think this is a very interesting topic because it's actually something that I personally can relate to in a very deep, 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 deep manner, from experiencing moments in life where I have been at a crossroads as to, do I try to live a quote unquote normal life and keep my broom closet hidden, or do I live boldly and freely and who God and the universe and the ancestors have called me to be? And so tonight, it is my hopes and my goals is that we're able to deep dive, and I won't keep you guys too long tonight, definitely being that it was a late start. But we are able to, open up the airways, get some juices flowing, and really tap into interesting discussion here tonight. I'm going to open up the comments. Good night, Mama Star. I want to be able to see the comments and things. So I thank you all for viewing. Please share the link, share the live, get people involved, tag some people in the comments, get them on the live so that actually I want to tag, yeah, get them onto the live so that we could, rock and roll a little bit. So, oh yeah, I want to add my brother in here as well. Actually, if he's interested, he can actually join. Sherry Kwaku, if you want to get on, if you're interested, you're more than welcome to join me. You can send me an inbox if you're interested. But anyhow, the theme tonight: living in tension and wanting everything, but yet feeling pulled apart, more so feeling like you are pulled in different directions. You don't know to go left, you don't know to go right, you don't know to go up, you don't know to go down. And I have been there. I have been there. When you find yourself, thank you, Spirit. First, I want to give acknowledgement to the ancestors, to the Most High God, to the universe that is present with us, that is listening. I pray that you supply me with divine wisdom, supply me with divine words that will not just speak to the people, but also speak to me. I pray that by the end of this live tonight, that everyone walks away with some clarity and some insight and some wisdom. And I invite my friends, my followers, my students, my everybody to comment and share and give your thoughts in on this topic. But again, Lord, I thank you for your presence tonight. I thank you for life, health, and strength tonight. Ashe Beni Kori, Ashe Beni Kori, Ashe Beni Kori. And so, living in tension, wanting everything, and wanting everything doesn't mean necessarily, you want money, you want fame, you want this, that, and the third, but it could be you just want a lot. It could be the job. It could be the job plus the family plus the business plus the X, Y, by Z. It could be a lot. You know what your everything is. So it's not specific things, but it's the want of everything. Having all this on your plate and feeling all this on your plate and being at a crossroads as to how to manage it all, how to distribute the weight, how to maneuver the adversities, how to set yourself up for successful gains and resources. Okay. And one of the talk points I want to get into is the struggle between freedom and security. That hit home for me when that revelation came through. The struggle of freedom, the struggle between freedom, I'm sorry, and security. Freedom is this carefree life. Freedom is living in purpose without a care, without a worry, without a concern of who has what to say, but living in that I'm doing what I want, when I want, how I want, and living my life like it's golden, and living in my divine purpose and destiny to be all that I want to be and all that I wish to be and all that I've been called to be. And sometimes that looks very unconventional. It looks very abnormal. It doesn't look like what the rest of your friends or your family may be doing. It doesn't look like what the typical person in your community may be doing. It doesn't look like even somebody with the same title may be doing. Sometimes it's a rather unique thing, and you living in that and embracing it. And then the other element of security, structure, formality, the 9 to 5, the clocking in and clocking out. I've been there. And for a long period of time, you guys, I'll just give you guys a testimony of my own experiences. When I first started doing this work as a spiritual practitioner, I was still working in a corporate job, clocking in, getting up every day, going to the office, going to meetings, walking with my dog, going to the office. You understand? And enjoying the security that came with that, the benefits, the nice check, the security and health benefits, and the bonus packages, and not worrying about things, knowing that my bills are going to be paid because I have the money in the bank to pay these bills on time, not worrying about taking trips because I know that the money is going to be there for me to take the trip, not worrying about going out to nice restaurants and shopping because the money is going to be there for me to do these things, versus now shifting and transitioning into, as they would say, get it how you live. Your gifts making room for you. You understand? And then also embracing one's gifts and abilities, and knowing and trusting that this thing will support me, knowing that this thing will aid me to be the best version of myself, and the universe will supply me with all of my needs. That was a major crossroads for me because I couldn't believe that. I went into a depression because I wasn't getting the jobs. I moved to the South. I wasn't getting the interviews. I wasn't getting the type of job that I was used to having. And then it just plateaued and nothing. No responses, no requests, no hits, no reactions, no remarks, nothing. And I began to feel crushed. And I began to question God and the universe like, Lord, how is it you've called me to this? And how is it you've kept me and preserved me all this time? And then the further I get into this, the harder it is. Drinking my tea. This is when faith comes in. This is when faith comes in. Freedom versus security. Do I level up my faith and embrace the freedom and discover what the freedom looks like for me and put my faith to the test and the challenge and establish, this is what my mind tells me, establish a form of security for myself? Or do I live a mundane life, a typical life, a life that is general, as we would say, a basic life, a typical life, for the security of it all. We can't say neither one is good or bad. It depends on the individual. Depends on the individual. And many times I found myself wanting to push and strive for the security, pushing and striving for that life that I once had. And it's like time and time again, the universe began to slap me, boom, 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 slap me in the face, slap again, to remind me that no, your life is of a different path. Your calling is different. And then when you put in the work and you grind it out and you shift your thinking and you shift your behaviors and you shift your mindset and you shift your environment and truly embrace the fullness of who we've called you to be and who we've designed you to be and who we've charged you to be. We being God and the spirit and the universe and the ancestors, and embrace that freedom does manifest. And in actuality, I choose freedom. I may be weird, I may be crazy, but I choose freedom. And then the next element is duality in relationships. I want to talk about duality in relationships. When we talk about duality in relationships, we talk about the balance. Sometimes we look at things from an external or traditional or a societal perspective. And we think things should go this way and things should go that way. And then we have these relationships with people, our family dynamics, our friendships, our partnerships and or relationships, be that boyfriend, girlfriend, marriages, life partner, soul partner, whatever you call it. And we assume these roles and positions without discussion, without setting a tone and a foundation, or even understanding one's strengths and weaknesses. So when we talk about duality in a relationship, just because I may have the title, I'm gonna speak from a hetero lens for a moment. I'm gonna give different perspectives, you know. So walk with me. But I could be man. I could be a male in a relationship with a female. And because societal norm, society says that a man should do X, Y, by Z, and a woman should do X, Y, by Z, we try to assimilate to these norms and produce these attributes. But in reality, you could be with a woman that may be more stronger, more durable, more equipped to do certain tasks that a typical man would do. And you may be with a man that wouldn't mind being more domestic. As we would say, doing the cooking, doing the maintenance, those type of things. Duality. And so I say to that, we must really get to a place of knowing and identifying the roles that we play in the lives of those around us, the lives that we choose to be a part of. We must truly come to understand the role that individuals play in our lives, the impact, what they bring to the table, and always be mindful of what do I bring to the table. Am I building or am I destroying? Are we working towards a common goal or are we just existing? And honestly speaking, in the times that we're living in, we can't be in a space of just existing. We have to maneuver with purpose. We have to maneuver and show up with purpose and fulfill the tasks at hand. One second, I'm going to check Instagram, make sure I'm not missing any comments on Instagram. Okay, wonderful. You know, making sure that we're moving with a purpose. and not just showing up willy nilly just because. But we also have to be kind and gentle and respectful to others. But a lot of times we pass judgment because we feel that a person is supposed to meet a certain expectation or do a certain thing or perform a certain task. And when they can't or they don't or are unable to, we start to pass judgment or anger. And we have to be bigger than that. We have to be greater than that. But even in everything, we have to be realistic. A lot of times we are building friendships and we're cultivating relationships and we're not being realistic. What do you may ask me? What do I mean by that? Not realistic. In the sense of I expect you to do something that I know darn well you may not be equipped to do, or you're expecting me to do something knowing that I'm not equipped, whether that be physically, spiritually, psychologically, emotionally, equipped to do what it is you may be asking me to do. So when we thank you, 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 thank you. I just heard this whisper to speak about understanding that in different times and in different seasons of your life, you are going to change. Your energy is going to shift. Your desires are going to shift. Your attractions are going to shift. Your desires are going to shift. You are going to change. We hope for the better. And in your changing or your evolution, prayerfully, evolution, you have to learn to be clear in conveying that I am in a new space, I am in a different space, I am in a transformative space. I am not in the space that I used to be in, but also I want you all to learn to be patient and gentle towards others when you see them growing and changing. Even if the growth and change is something that you may not necessarily agree with, even if the growth and change is not something that you like, you support. But hey, be respectful. Be respectful of people's choices. Be respectful of people's decisions. And if anything, encourage them to be the best version of themselves and not ask for, because you don't need to seek the encouragement, but make sure that you are living and showing up in a manner that is conducive for your happiness, for your joy, for your growth mentally, for your growth spiritually, for your growth psychologically and emotionally. Because we are all growing. No one is perfect. And we have to really accept that truth that no one is perfect. And so then we go into the mindset of having it all without sacrifice. A lot of us want this universe to give us certain things. We want people to bless us and give us certain things. We may are petitioning God and the spirits to give us certain things and to bless us, but we do not want to sacrifice. And sacrifice is not just your tithes and your offering and your money and your ritual sacrifices. It's not just those things, but it is truly the sacrifice of putting to rest or letting go something that you were once so attached to that could very well be hindering you from stepping into the next thing that you are called to step into. Sacrifice. Sacrifice sometimes is the fasting. Sacrifice is sometimes the moment of prayer. Sacrifice is sometimes the giving of your last. Sometimes the sacrifice is putting yourself in an uncomfortable position to reach to the next level. Sometimes the sacrifice is doing something that you personally don't want to do to get to the next level. But the reality is, nothing in life is free. Nothing in life is free. And if we are truly climbing this ladder, seeking and praying for and asking for success, I assure you, there's going to be some form of sacrifice that is going to be needed and required for you to reach there. You cannot get there without paying a price. You can't get there without paying a price. And so, and when we talk about the duality, a lot of times, even when we talk about the relationship element, a lot of times we are in situations and we expect, good evening, Sonia. We are expecting everything to be sweet. We want everything to go right, everything to be perfect, everything to be in order, everything. And because I'm this, that, and the third, I shouldn't have any difficulties. But I've come to the reality that those of us that are called to a higher calling, and even not just those of us that are called, it's everybody. It is a reality of this thing called life. There's going to be some sour moments. There's going to be some adversity. There's going to be, as they say, valleys to go into and hills to climb and mountains to overcome. There's going to be. Because if you did not go through these things, where were the tests? And the development comes that strengthens you and sharpens you to make you whole and to make you wiser and to make you more advanced and to make you more aware, more conscious, more sensible, more patient, more grateful. If we did not go through the hard times, if we didn't know what it was like to lack, trust me, your day of lack will come. And know that we have to meet certain things head on to know how to appreciate and show gratitude to God and the universe and the ancestors for all of the kind and good things that they've assisted us with and brought us over. Every great that has gone before us, spiritually, carnally, everyone has paid some form of sacrifice, some form of breakthrough needed to take place and manifest. Hmm. It's not easy. I tell you many times I wanted to give up. I remember when I came into the early stages of me coming into African spirituality, um, and the Orisha tradition, and coming from an environment in the church where I didn't experience drama, I did not experience people trying to attack me, I did not experience people, you know, um, not showing brotherly love. I did not experience the levels of wickedness I began to experience after, joining, not joining, but becoming more active in my African spiritual traditions and being a part of a community. I didn't know people could be as evil and grimy and petty. I ain't lying to y'all. Y'all could say I was living in a bubble or what. And I was very active in the church and very active in ministry. But this was in the Pentecostal world. This was in the American church. This was in the, the black church, I had not experienced the level of foolishness with people that I had experienced after joining and being involved in African spiritual traditions in the Orisha community in Chicago. And I guarantee you, I was like, I cried. I remember a morning I cried on my bed, bawling to Ogun, Baba me, Papa Ogu, why did you bring me into this? Why did you allow me to come? I tell you, I cried, I cried, I cried, I cried, I cried, I cried. I said I had peace in the church. And I know the Christians probably loving this. I had peace in the church. I didn't have all this crap going on. But reality is, yes, it's not that the church didn't have BS going on. I just wasn't involved and active in it. It didn't affect me. But the reality is, yes, it was going on there too. But what Ogun, let me be specific on the entity. Ogun, Papa Ogu, Ogum, Ogun, Ogu, however you like to call him, spoke to me and said, son, had you not gone through these things and seen these things, how would you be able to do what you've been called to do? How would you know how to help and heal someone from a situation you didn't? It wasn't no teacher that taught me that. It was Ogun that taught me that. You can't help nobody through something you have never gone through. And you have to realize that life is not just peaches and cream. You have to realize there's suffering, there's adversity, there's going to be some tears, there's going to be some backstabbers, there's going to be some enemies, there's going to be people that wish to kill you. It's going to unalive you. Sorry, Facebook, please don't delete my video. Unalive, unalive, unalive you. You understand? And you have to face the fire. And then Ogu went as far as beginning to show me visions of all the greats that came before me. I sat there in my bed, and you better believe I dropped them tears real quick. And I thought about the elders, and I thought about the different teachers and the prophets and the healers and the all the ones that have come before me that had to taste and feel the sourness of life, but yet still walk in sweetness and humility and do and fulfill all that they were called to do and fulfill. So who am I? I will walk boldly in who I am. And that goes back to the element of freedom. Because you have to be enslaved in your mind to hate yourself or not like yourself or not push yourself or not encourage yourself or not shift certain things that you know are going to hinder you. Like you have to be in chains in your mind. And so when we talk about freedom, when we tap it into the overall topic of discipline, desire, and duality, there comes a time where, yes, Mama, so you have to walk through the fire. There comes a time where you have to walk through the fire and fix yourself, strengthen yourself, walk with your head up and not with your head down, speak up and not mumble and fumble, but walk with purpose and dignity. Because you know there's something great that is over your life. You know that there's something great for you to do. And it can be simple. Great doesn't mean you're going to be on a platform preaching and teaching and healing and reading and all the things. Great in the capacity of what great is for you. It could be owning that home. It could be opening up that store. It could be starting your garden. It could be, remodeling your old home. It could be learning more about your ancestry and doing something of legacy for your family. It could be whatever you wanted and have been called to make it be. The inspiration that comes from your ancestors, the inspiration that comes from God and the universe that is planted on the inside of you. It just has to come up. None of us is one way. We talk about duality. None of us is one way. We have many faces, many sides to us, many different desires. And it requires, as I said last week, requires you to go deep within yourself, separate yourself, go into a different environment, go into a different space, you understand, and begin to nurture that thing and understand who you are, the different sides of you. Understand what triggers your anger. Understand what turns you on and turns you off. Understand what sparks your creativity. Understand what it's like when you want to be social and when you want to be left the F alone. You understand these are things. This is duality, the different sides of you. And everything has its place, everything has its purpose, everything has its time. Everything. And you have to allow it to flow in its timing, in its place, so that it can do what it needs to do. Because it only becomes a struggle. It only becomes a struggle when we are living either against, as they would say, the will or the destiny that is over our life, or when we are telling ourselves or we are projecting on the inside that we want something or we want to reach a certain goal or strive to reach to a certain place in our life or get to us or get a certain thing done. Good evening, Eldon. Good evening. You know, this is the struggle because we are setting these goals and we want to reach it, but then yet something else in the back of our mind or something or someone around us in our space is telling us something different. So then we try to live to that or try to meet that expectation. So now we're struggling and it's a fight. But reality is, and what I've come to learn from elders is, and even from what I've witnessed from observation, and even for I myself, I'm striving to reach, is that when you fully embrace the freedom and the liberation of who you are, and it doesn't mean you got to go and make a full proclamation and declaration to the world, but yet it is something in which you just show up and you embody on an everyday basis. And if that require and if a part of that freedom is also some form of gift or craft or ability or inspiration that allows you to prosper from that, then guess what? The abundance from you living in that will in fact secure you. So therefore, there doesn't have to be a struggle. We just have to align, and I speak to you, I speak to myself too. Align ourselves with that and step into it every day, every day, every day. Put ourselves to it. If you have guys have any questions, please um, comment your questions, ask your questions. Please send stars. If you have Facebook, you can send me stars. Comment, like, share the link with someone. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok soon. You know, so get it out there so people could benefit and learn and share. So I thank you all that are spending time with me, but get this news, get this message, these words out, because all of us, again, we're striving to reach somewhere. We're striving to reach somewhere. And so if we're not we're not there, we got to start to ask ourselves some questions. Why do I feel torn? Why do I feel torn? Why do I feel like I can't do? Why do I feel like I can't separate? Why do I feel like I can't walk away? Why do I feel like I can't produce or manifest? Why do I feel like I have to stay in this one environment or this one zone? Why can't I make a decision to shift? These are things to think about. And then we also have to, again, as I always encourage you guys, and as I said last week, ask yourself, why do I desire what it is I desire. Why do I want what it is I want? Why am I seeking it? What does it do for me? What does it do for me? Does it help me? Does it break me? Does it make me? Does it empower me? Does it edify my life? Does it produce sweetness in my life? Or does it weaken me and make my life more sour? We have to think about it. You understand? I even want you all to think about my encouragement for you all this week is to think about and reflect on ways in which you embody duality. How does duality manifest in your life? How does duality manifest in your life? Some people are living double lives. Some people are very transparent with who they are. Some people feel they have to put on a face and show one side of them, and then in another time, a different side. And then you have those of us that are consistent because we put in the work and have gone through the fire and the struggle to say, hell, fuck it. This is who I am. And this is how I'm showing up. And it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of guts to be bold in who you are. Sonia, I'm glad you brought that up. Bonsoir, chérie. Bonsoir, mambo. Voici. Bonsoir, bonsoir, madame. Sonia, you said I don't know if it's the Mercury retrograde affect me because I'm into astrology and believe in it, or or is it because of the retrograde itself? Because I definitely feel impacted when it happens. Okay, Sonia, can you tell me if we're in a retrograde right now? Actually, I'm gonna Google it. I don't know. I'm about to Google it right now, actually, or if we're in a retrograde, because I've been off with astrology, and if we are, I'm gonna have to do a special segment this week with my astrology superheroes, my little African fairy and astro weather woman. But Sonia, to your point, before I actually research, I'm going to research it now and tell you. But I can tell you this: there are moments and certain times of the year where Mercury retrograde heavily affects me, but in different ways. Sometimes it's communication, sometimes it's finances, sometimes things are just moving slow, or plans are not following through, and so you have to kind of find out the planet and how it's impacting you and the energy we're in. And a few people, oh, I love this logo. Someone is a Shiva devotee. Om Namah Shivaya. I love Sita Ram. I love your Shiva seal. Greetings to you. But thank you for that. And being that I know that we are in retrograde, Saturn and Mercury are both in retrograde. Oh dang. I'm gonna look that up right now. So I can tell you the planets definitely have an effect on us as spiritual beings. Not just spiritual beings, everybody. Even people that say, "Oh, I don't believe in astrology," or "I don't believe in that. I'm saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost," or they're Islamic or whatever. No, even the Muslims believe in the stars too. But for those persons that don't believe in it, the reality is, if you take a survey of your life at certain times of the year and the day, it's not just the full moon, but when you see, oh, that's my son PJ. Nice. Yes. When you see charge up to the max, PJ, we in it. So when you see, you know, certain things that happen in your life and you kind of track when those things happen and what was going on in the stars, you will find that there's some type of correlation. A lot of times people don't want to acknowledge that truth, but it is a fact. It is a fact. You know, I've experienced it, and most of us that are active spiritual practitioners that know a little something about astrology can probably attest to that. Now, there are ways to kind of, let me say this: when you know what's going on and how it's going to affect you, or possibly affect you, you could you could actually do things to kind of manipulate or shift, counterbalance that. energy. You can counterbalance that energy. That may require certain cleansing, certain rituals, certain crystals, certain ritual work that you may have to do, and it varies per person. But those are things that you could do that to kind of alleviate some of the effects that it could possibly have. Let me look into this retrograde energy. Okay, just now, y'all. I'm looking it up. Okay. Oh my God. There's a few, you all. There's Pluto, Neptune, and Saturn are all currently retrograde, and Mercury will soon join them in retrograde on July 18th. It says Mercury retrograde periods are often associated with communication and travel disruptions. And this particular one in Leo is said to invite reconnections with one's truth. Ah, I like that. So it says here Pluto, Neptune, and Saturn. These outer planets are currently in retrograde, meaning they appear to be moving backwards from our perspective on Earth. Outer planet retrogrades tend to have a slower, more subtle influence than inner planet retrogrades, according to RUSSH. Okay, and then Mercury retrograde. The Mercury retrograde period begins on July 18th and lasts until August 11th, says Farmer's Almanac. A lot of our ancestors, a lot of our old heads love to use the Farmer's Almanac. Mercury retrogrades are known for causing communication breakdowns, travel delays, and technical glitches. I myself, plus a few of my students and other clients, just today alone, can attest to the communication problems. I can tell you that. It says Mercury and Leo. This particular Mercury retrograde is in the sign of Leo, which is associated with creativity, self expression, and leadership. This can be a time to reconnect with your inner truth and create potential, according to the Yoga Journal. It says possible effects. During this time, you might experience delays, misunderstandings, or need to revisit past issues or projects. However, it is also opportunities for introspection and re-evaluation. It says tips for navigating Mercury retrograde. Astrologers often recommend being extra mindful of communication, backing up important data, and allowing extra time for travel. It is also a good time to slow down, reflect, and revisit old ideas and projects. I think this is very befitting. I think this is a very befitting time. So, as stated in the Google, and I Googled this by the way. Yes, our best friend Google, she helped me out. And you all can definitely go and look further. But yes, there's a few planets in retrograde, and with that being said, they're saying be mindful of your communication. How that means how you're showing up, how you're interacting. Be mindful not to engage in arguments and petty disagreements. Yes, we may be challenged in that area. But most importantly, what I liked about what it said is that this is a time to reflect, to be more introspective. That means going within, putting things in place internally. What do you want to do? What is next? Time to create for you creatives. You understand? Definitely time to create. But for those of you that are traveling and have been finding yourselves, let me stick with the traveling first. For those of you that have been traveling or are preparing to travel in this time between July now, emphasis during July 18th until August 11th. Be mindful. Be mindful, be mindful, be mindful, be mindful. So give yourself some extra time. Make sure your bookings are in place. Make sure you get there early. Make sure you cross verify, cross reference, cross check, all of that, because there's room for things to go not as planned. But for those of you that are creatives or trying to tap into your creative sides or even need a moment of peace, and need a moment of reflection, need a moment of quiet time, this is a time for you. This is a time for you to take advantage. So spend some time in nature, get some rest, do some journaling, do some writing. Also, find new ways. I just heard this right now. This just dropped in my spirit. Find new ways to express yourself. Try something different and find new ways to express yourself. If you don't try something different, don't stay stuck. Do not stay stuck. Don't stay stuck, because sometimes the depression that you're feeling and the sadness that you're feeling is because there's stagnation, physical stagnation, mental stagnation, energetic stagnation. And so we have to move that energy or do something to amplify our energy and charge our energy up. In the words of my son, charge up to the max. Get yourself in pocket and charged up so that you can execute what it is you need to execute and get to the next level. We're all climbing. It doesn't stop. We're climbing to get somewhere. We're walking and we're journeying to get somewhere. And so while you're on that journey, you want to try your best. You want to put your best foot forward. You know what I mean? And so be mindful. And also, mama, start put emphasis on have documents. Have your documents in order. It did mention that. Have your documents in order. Have your documents in order, people. Record, save, back up, print, make copies, fax, scan, email to yourself, text to yourself. You understand? Whatever you need to do to back up information of importance, do it. Don't take any chances during this time, because it's not a common thing, from my understanding, and we'll validate that when I have our guests on. But it's not very common for there to be as many planets in retrograde at one time. Now you'll get back to back. Oftentimes you will get back to back. And Sonia, please correct me if I'm wrong, because you seem to be in astrology too, a little bit. So, from my understanding, yes, you don't get as many in retrograde at one time. That's not a common thing, but you will get them back to back when this. So this is a unique time. So I wouldn't take any risks. Charge yourselves, protect yourselves. Also keep in mind, watch the energy of what's taking place in communication regarding the world governments at large, especially our own, what's taking place politically and all of that. There's a lot of Congress debates, there's a lot of House of Representative conversations that are taking place right now. And so, again, this retrograde can have effects in more ways than one. And so, more than anything, I encourage you all to be prayed up. I encourage you all to generate positive thoughts and stay mindful. Stay mindful of your own energy. Check yourself, because we can easily look at others and blame others and say what they're doing wrong and how they're acting out of character, or how they're acting in a manner as we say, they don't have no business. You understand, doing things they don't have no business doing, or getting on in a manner they don't have no business doing. But I want to encourage you all, check yourself. Check yourself first. You find a test coming, somebody talking at you crazy, getting out of order, and you feel that heat rising up your spine and you're ready to flip the table like Jesus did in the synagogue, check yourself. We don't want no goon chopping down trees. Check yourself. And if you got to start to come back again and try again, that is okay too. But check yourself. Be mindful. Don't fail the test or lose your grace because of a failed test, when we know we've been warned. Take heed to the warning. Those of you that are hearing this message, we are being held accountable by the universe. You've been warned. There are things that are happening in the ethers, there are things that are happening around you. So be accountable. Even I myself today have some apologizing to do. So I will never tell you something that I myself can be real about. We live in this thing. It's real life, and you can't make it up. And I'm not gonna sell you guys a narrative that I'm perfect, because that ain't the case. But I'm striving to be an example of realness, an example of what it means to walk this life called spirituality in the realest of ways. You know, good, bad, ugly, and indifferent. I wouldn't give it up for the world. And with that being said, I'm gonna come down, and I love you all, and I thank you for spending time with me this evening. I thank you for coming into space with your positive energy, your positive thoughts, even for those of you that may not have verbally shared it in the space via comment. The fact that you are here present with me, with us, says a lot. And I thank you for being here. And I thank you for your continuous support. And then, like I said, I pray that you subscribe, that you like, that you comment, that you share, that you give feedback, that you ask questions, because all that motivates me to continue to come back and continue to push to come forward. Because I almost failed the test today. I almost failed the test. I almost said, forget it. We're not going to do the line. I almost said we'll try again next week. I almost failed that test, and I would have slipped back in the pattern that we're trying to avoid. And even today was a fight. I made it late, but I made it. And we're going to keep pushing until we meet the mark. You understand? And so I love you all again, and I thank you for your patience with me. I thank you for growing with me. I thank you for helping me to grow and holding me accountable, and pushing me. And I pray that something was said or has been said, and if it hasn't been said yet, I pray that next week we come with it, that it will bless your soul, that it will bless your mind, that it will give impact to the change and evolution for you along your journey. Again, until we meet again, I speak love, I speak blessings of peace and prosperity over you, and may it be well with you. Good night. I love you all. Thank you, Mama Star. We're going to wrap after this. I love you all. You all good night. Rest well. Dream well. And until we meet again next week, While Out Wednesday, part 3, desire, discipline, duality. We're going to hit it again next week. And I'm glad you fought, Sonya. Don't stop fighting. One of my grannies used to say, Granny Myrtle, God rest her soul, when you cease to pray, you cease to fight. When you cease to pray, you cease to fight. And when you cease to fight, this is not the physical fight. This is the spiritual fight. This is the energetic fight. This is the psychological fight. This is the emotional fight. When you fight, you give that adversary, that enemy, that energetic force that is against you, be it visible or invisible, that you're not giving up. And when you tap into that force of strength, that strength will carry you to the next level. That strength will carry you over the mountain. That strength will bring you out of the valley. That strength will help you to dig yourself out of the grave. And so keep fighting. I'm fighting with you, baby. I'm fighting with all of you as you guys fight with me. Cover me in prayer. And if you're not sending good vibes, I send it back to you as I send and cover you all in prayer and love. May you have a beautiful night. Odabo. Bonne nuit. Au revoir.